and welcome back to the channel. So today I wanted to make a video about a brand new game that just came out as of recording 4 days ago. So this game, if you haven't heard about it yet, is called Dungeonborn, I believe. And this game, it's kind of like Dark and Darker, if you've heard of that, which I imagine you've probably heard of it somewhere. So this game's kind of like Dark and Darker in the sense of it's a medieval extraction game. You have your inventory here, which this is the merchant you can buy things from with gold. Torches, mimic potions, which that one actually sounds pretty cool. Turns you into a chest, but you've got your weapons and stuff. There's an alchemist, which you can get some healing things from. I haven't really messed around with this guy too much, but you can get like potions and things from him. And then you have this heirloom guy, which is kind of like I'm assuming you can like craft armor and weapons and things from him, kind of like a Diablo barbarian sort of. And then here's your hub area. You and your friends will sit around here when they join your game. And then you have the trade menu, which it's a trade menu. I'm sure you know how this works if you've played any sort of game that has trading in it. But if not, you can kind of buy things off of other players. I'm not sure if that's how it works in this game. And then they have auctions where you can auction things off of other players. They have a shop as well, which every game has a shop. I'm not going to go over that. And then you have little quests you can do to get potions and some gold, which they don't seem too bad. Open 10 chests, kill 10 monsters as a given class, stuff like that. Which I will talk about the classes really quick, if I'm able to find it. Yeah, here we go. Character list, you can make a new character. This is the one that I've been playing as. It's the fighter. They all have their own abilities, which I'll leave them on screen for a second so that you can pause to look at them if you want to. But, so each class in this game is kind of like a different weapon, or, well, they're like traditional classes, more or less. All of them have 4 perks and then 5 passives, and they all have their own specific stats depending on the class. Obviously, like this one, it's fighter, it's big in strength, versus one over here, like, I believe this is a ice, low in strength, but it's high in wisdom and intelligence. And then we have the priest. They do general healing things, and they have general passives that will like boost up that stuff. And then you have a rogue. Rogues, I'm sure you know what a rogue is and how they kind of play. Like, they've got the stealth, they've got the poison, and they have the increased crit from being in stealth. Another thing with the rogue as well, which I am moving a little quick through these, but it's just to show you what all they can do. With the rogue, you can go in stealth, and while you're stealthed, you have 200% increased movement speed, but it decays over 5 seconds. And then this is the pyromancer. The pyromancer has a skill that actually me and my friends, when we were looking at this game the other day, thought was really cool. Fire blast. So when you use this, say you're like drinking a potion or using bandages on yourself, you can shoot out fire in a shockwave around you, knocking back your teammates, and it'll slow them, or knocking back your enemies, not teammates. And it will not cancel your action, so you can continue to heal while you do the fire blast, which is really cool. And then if you happen to kill somebody with the blast, it will reset the cooldown, so you can immediately use it again. So this one seems sick. And then when you use your fire skills, they apply stacks of ignite, which is also really cool because that just does tick damage over time. And then, oh, when using Fire Blast, restore 50 life for each additional target hit. Restore an additional extra 50 to a max of 200. Then you have the next one, which I believe this is the Death Knight. Yep. If you've heard of a Death Knight before, the only place I've really ever seen Death Knights is WoW. But Death Knight, you've got a thing to surround yourself in, like, evil spirits, and they'll target enemies, and then they'll be slowed. And it'll do shadow damage in a surrounding area, and the more strength, influence, intelligence, and will you have, the bigger the AoE is for this. Then this one, unleash soul energy, dealing continuous shadow damage to nearby enemies. While active, it continuously consumes soul energy, but it can be turned off at any time. And then your last ability, fire a spectral hand at the target, dealing a small amount of shadow damage, pulling them towards you. Friendlies are immune to the damage. Recover a small amount of soul energy if this hits an enemy. Then you have all your passives, which I'll kind of click now, so you can pause and read them if you want to. Then we have the ice guy. Guide a small moving ice storm by clicking the ground. It'll do slow and damage. This one, deal an active damage and slowing... Okay, it deals damage and slows the target. It also does Frost Curse, which reduces their cold resistance for a period of time. And every second they take damage, it restores life to you. But only one stack of this can occur at a time. This one, you put yourself in an ice block. So, kind of like, if you've played Overwatch, it's kind of like Mei for this ability. You put yourself in an ice block and you recover HP over time. And then this one, you shield an allied target when taking damage from close range, slow the attacker. This can only trigger once. And then if you press F, you'll put it on yourself, but you do need a staff instead of the knife here. Because with this class, I think the others have it as well, but depending on what weapon you have will change how these abilities look. Like if you have a sword, I believe, this one, it'll shoot like an arc wave. And then if you do the knife, you'll throwing knife it. And then if you have the spell, you'll do like a line on the ground, I believe, or something like, or a staff, not a spell. And this one's the Sword Master. Summon 4 blades that track to your target and attack enemies, dealing damage. The cooldown is determined by the number of swords launched. Using this ability on uncommon or higher rarity will increase the damage. And then they restore 30 life to the Swords Master with this passive, which is really good synergy, IMO. Whirlwind Blade, summon 1 sword from the sword slot to continuously orbit around themselves for 8 seconds, dealing a small amount of damage to nearby enemies during this period. And then I'll click through the passives. Also, I don't remember if I clicked through them here, but I'll do a real quick, like, click through for the Cryomancer. And then the last one we have here is the Druid. Druid, transform into Panther form, requires a weapon equipped, removes all debuffs upon transformation. While in Panther form, Force of Nature is replaced with Shadow Assault, activate again to turn into a human. Here's Force of Nature. Summon a Treant at a designated location, lasting 30 seconds. The Treant will attack nearby enemies and grant a shield to the Druid. When the Druid hits an enemy with the Treant within the Treant's attack range using Shadow Assault, the Treant will immediately start attacking that enemy. Requires Staff or Orb. And then here's Shadow Assault. Consume Primal Energy to pounce forward, dealing shadow damage to the nearby enemy upon landing. Basic attacks and Shadow Assault in Panther form restore Primal Energy when they deal damage. So if you're in Panther form, you can't do Force of Nature, you will only have Shadow Assault, because you don't have a staff to summon. And then here's the little passives real quick. I'll click through them kind of fast. And then I'll go back on these ones since I did start reading the abilities. I'll go back. Pyroblast, you launch fireballs at the target. Stage 1, you shoot 3, and they deal a small amount of fire damage. Stage 2, you launch a larger fireball that does bigger AoE. And upon completing Stage 2's charge, you gain the ability to levitate by pressing space while airborne. And then Fireblast I did talk about. For the Rogue, coats melee or ranged weapon with poison. The next successful attack will be petrified. Petrified targets cannot act and have their damage taken reduced by 100%. And that's removed when they get attacked. Quick Blade, shoot out 6 daggers to attack multiple enemies in front of you, causing 70% slow for 3 seconds. Stealth, turn invisible. It takes 3 seconds to channel this. Critical damage is increased while stealth. And then your E immediately enters stealth for 6 seconds. Crit damage is increased during stealth. So I believe you get to pick one of these before you go in. You can either immediately enter, and you'll only be 6 seconds, or you can channel it for 3 seconds to have a 15-second invisibility. Me personally, I would use this one because 3 seconds isn't that bad for a cast time, especially because you could take this and have your movement speed increased by 200%. Wall stealth, unblock attacks apply poison. Enter stealth after killing an enemy. This could be really good if you're play like a not run and gun, but like a guerrilla type of fight. Stealth grants 50% life steal. The effect is lost upon breaking stealth. That's pretty solid too. And then for the priest, channel power of holy light to summon an oracle at a designated location. After a brief delay, it heals friendly targets and deals active holy damage to enemies within the area. This effect has a chance to critical strike. Your second Q ability that you can pick, channel the power of holy light to heal a friendly target. Press F to heal yourself. Charged casting can enhance the effect of the skill. The healing effect has a chance to critical strike. Critical healing sounds interesting. Apply a divine shield to a friendly target, making them immune to all damage for 3 seconds. Press F to apply it to yourself. And then guard, grant a shield to yourself and nearby allies for 10 seconds. That sounds pretty good, actually, especially because this game is a like Dark and Darker PvP extraction type of game. And then for the fighter, this one requires a two-handed weapon, kind of like Barbarian if you've ever played that in like Diablo. Whirlwind, you spin, you're like a tornado basically. Let out a battle cry, instantly increasing your attack damage by 30%, physical resistance by 30%, and 30% lifesteal for 5 seconds. E, you charge a short distance. Using this will not interrupt actions currently being performed. So I'm assuming with that you can be healing and then use the charge and it not cancel your heal. And then Inspire, boost the morale of yourself and nearby allies, increasing movement speed by 150 for 3 seconds. And then here are the passives for him. I do think this one will be really good for the Barbarian, especially if you plan to use Whirlwind, because then your teammates can't be damaged, which is great because the AoE for Whirlwind is massive, actually. And then you can come in and there's a creator. You can choose a face, skin tone, eye color, 12 hairstyles, which I'll kind of click through real quick. Nothing too crazy on the hairstyles. They've got some good ones, some alright ones. Like this one I don't think I would ever use personally. And then bald. And then they've got 8 beard options. Goatee, fuller beard, scraggly beard. Like this one's kind of got the more mutton chop style going on. And then you can come in here, you can, there's 7 different scars, 17 different markings, which I didn't even realize there was that many. And then different makeup you can throw on your character, like war paint, things like that, which are pretty cool. I'm not going to keep this character because I don't need another one. This is my character, though. I am a level 1 fighter. I have not played too much of this game, but comparing it gameplay-wise to Dark and Darker, I would say it's more of like... It's Dark and Darker, but if you sped the combat up a little bit, because you can do light attacks, which are kind of quick, and then you can charge up for heavies, and then your abilities are like it's more fast-paced. I'd say like the looting and stuff is about the same, but in terms of straight just gameplay, I would say it's a lot more fast-paced than Dark and Darker is. And then you have your stash, which completing the campaign, or not the campaign, the tutorial, I was able to get this armor piece, some healing potions, some bandages, and cloudy life essence, which is like a crafting material is what it says. And then, yeah, since I'm the fighter, I have my sword and shield, which I start with, and then I also have a long sword, so you do get both options. I'm assuming you can use different skills depending on which weapon you're holding, compared to having to, like, select them ahead of time. And then there are some cosmetics that they already have in the game that you can pick, like, for DLC and things like that. And then there's here's how the combat kind of looks. And they have combos, which I'm not in the training area, so I don't think I'll be able to show. But each weapon has, like, its own set of combos and things like that you could... Why is my helmet showing? Oh, I have a helmet on. I didn't know that. But yeah, each weapon has its own, like, combat that you can go to. And, oh, I can go to the training room. Okay. I'll go in here then and show off the, combos and stuff with the weapons that I have. But each one has their own combos you can do. Like, I know this weapon, with the sword and shield, if you just spam your left clicks, you'll do these 3 slashes, and then it follows up with a shield bash. And then if you block and hold it, you can charge up while blocking and do, like, a charge stab. And then if you block, it effectively does block. You'll do a thrust attack with the sword. And then, let me see if I can view a move set. Yeah, here we go. So yeah, you have this, the block and the thrust if you do block. Then you can just straight charge and do like a thrust attack. You have your 3 hit, which I showed, the / shield bash. And then for 2-handed, you can parry and then do a counter attack. You can hold it and just do a straight charge slash. And then you have your 3-hit combo as well, which is / stab, I believe. Yes. Dual swords. You can hold it up and do like a cross slash. You can parry as well or deflect with this one. And then you have a 6-hit combo for this weapon, which is actually pretty cool. So if you're really big into like dual blades and Monster Hunter, I think you would like that weapon. Mace and shield. You can attack while blocking with this weapon. That's actually really cool. Final Strike after forward charge can break defense, so you can do like a charged attack and you break their block if they have it. And then this one I assume is an infinite combo, and you just bonk. You hit them with the bonk. Dual daggers here. You have a backstab attack which does boosted damage, I'm assuming, especially with stealth. You have this, does like a thrusting attack, and then you have, oh, there's 4 for this one. Okay. You have a defense, you can block, and then you have your 3-hit combo. Stab. Pretty solid. The heavy crossbow, which I'm not sure which class this would be for. Probably maybe the dual daggers, like a rogue. But you can shoot, obviously. You can aim, kind of like... Huh, that's a weird looking crosshair. And then you can shoot. So pretty good combos for the bow. You can shoot, and aim. The staff, you have your lightning staff if you hold it. And then if you have the fire staff... Oh, this is for all staffs, it's just showing the different kinds. You can do the thunderstorm. I imagine the fire one, it would be this, but fire. You can charge it to increase energy regen of the staff. And then you do have a 2-hit combo. You just punch them with the staff. So if you're into melee with the staff. We have our ice orb. There it is. Yeah, you have your... This is... I believe this changes with your weapon. You throw the knife, you swing with the sword, and then the mace, you do the line on the ground. So this is pretty cool. I like this a lot because it's got a different moveset depending on what weapon you pair it with. And then here you have a block, and you put up like this magical arcane shield in front of you. And then you have your 3-hit combo. Slash, slash, stab, as per the usual. So that's all the movesets for the weapons. And then for... They have these things called ritual scrolls, which are pretty cool. I'm pretty sure what they do is make it to where when you're leaving, you can't be attacked. I think. I could be wrong about that. But yeah, and then when it comes to looting, you can come in here and... Oh, well, it's not going to let me loot them, but it's the same animation as Dark and Darker. And the inventory is also very similar to Dark and Darker. Like, I would argue almost the same. And then, yeah, here's the abilities for the fighter. You have your charge. And then if I switch to my other weapon, you have Whirlwind. Lasts a good time. It's got really long cooldowns. And then here's the great sword. In the tutorial, you get to play a boss fight, and the boss fight reminded me heavily of Dark Souls with this weapon specifically, because this, I don't know, I like the big swords, and that's just what it reminded me of, to be honest. But yeah, I'll head back out to the lobby, and the load times are pretty quick in this game for the most part, which is nice, and the graphics are okay. I have them on set to medium, I think, just because I don't need them to be too crazy. But yeah, that's Dungeonborn, I believe this game is called. It's kind of like Dark and Darker, but fast, and you've seen all the abilities and things like that. I would show off all the movesets, but I would have to make a bunch of different characters in order to show them off. So that's why I went into the training range and was able to show you the different weapon type movesets, because they're pretty much your main moveset aside from the abilities that you choose to run with your given weapon. But yeah, thank you for tuning into the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.